Hey guys, and welcome to the Deserts and Gardens podcast. If you're new here on this podcast, we share our daily highs and lows. This is not by any means a highlight reel, but where we share the realities of navigating marriage, faith, and our life together with God's guidance every step of the way.
Yep, and we're your hosts. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Mia.
And today we're going to be talking about something that can either strengthen or weaken your marriage. Words.
Yeah.
How we communicate, especially as we step into new seasons of life, sets the foundations for everything.
Yeah, so as we do, we'll be covering 3 topics. Number 1, the power of words and what the Bible says about how we speak. Second, we'll cover some common ways that we tear each other down without even realizing it. And then lastly, we will cover how to be intentional about speaking life into your marriage and relationships. So, if you've ever said something like, I was just being honest, or if you've made a joke that landed the wrong way or at the expense of your significant other, this episode is for you.
So, the Bible makes it very clear. Words carry weight. Proverbs 18 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit.
Right, and this verse is talking about the way we speak, especially to those that are closest to us, because we could either be building them up or tearing them down. And let's be real, it's so easy to forget that in marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super easy to forget that. But, we'll put a lot of effort into speaking kindly to strangers. Maybe put coworkers on that list, or people at church.
Yeah. We said that in another episode where we're so kind to people at Wawa or out in public, trying to be the benevolent stranger, and then we go home and we're trash to our spouse.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We come home and we're just completely careless with our words.
Yeah.
We'll come home and we'll either tear down our spouse, or we won't ask how their day went, or we'll just do something super hurtful.
Right, but I also want to point out, sometimes it's not even big things. Sometimes it's those little offhanded comments or jokes or just being sarcastic or just casual negativity that could slowly chip away at the foundation of your relationship. And this goes for, you were saying, friends, family, coworkers too. Little bitey nasty remarks. I just feel some people, when we speak, we can casually be so negative and not even be mentally cognizant that we are degrading our relationships with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll even put tone on that list.
Right.
Tonality is a big thing. So
such a big thing.
Right. Imagine being at the office and you ask one of your subordinates, hey, can you grab something off the printer? And they just they roll their eyes at you, fine.
Sure.
Right. It's just what was that about?
And they're oh, I was so happy to do that.
Right. It's no, you weren't.
Were you?
James 1:19 tells us everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Because the words we throw out in the heat of a moment, we can't take those back. Those tones that we give, we can't take those back. Once they're out, they're out.
Can't put the toothpaste back in. So, anyway, with all that being said, let's talk about some common ways that spouses can unintentionally tear each other down without even realizing it.
Yeah, number 1 is just using I'm just being honest.
I can't stand that one.
Yeah, but I felt I use that so much as an excuse.
It's literally just an excuse to be rude.
Right, and it's completely it's completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
And it's just because we're supposed to hold all those thoughts to the Bible.
Right, and we were just reading today in the Gospels where it says Jesus comes in the fullness of grace and truth.
Yeah.
So there's no just being honest without grace. If it's not graceful, it ain't Jesusful.
Right, and we know the heart is wicked above all else.
Right.
So if the first thing that comes out is a reaction, and it's coming from you or your heart, or it's basically coming from your flesh.
Yeah.
And who do you think, is that coming from God, or is that coming from the enemy?
Right.
So it's
that's why we need to be capturing those thoughts and holding them to the word before just being honest with how we feel.
Yeah, we're not saying honesty is not important. Honesty is very important.
Yeah.
But we're saying, there's a difference between truth and brutality. And just like you said, John 1:14 says Jesus came as grace and truth.
Mm-hmm.
If our honesty is harsh instead of helpful, we may need to rethink on how we're delivering it, or just taking that moment to pause.
Right, prayerful pauses, as we say all the time. And let's be real, a lot of times, I'm just being honest really means I didn't take the time to think of a gracious way to say this.
Exactly. There's a way to express concerns or frustration, without making the other person feel attacked.
Yeah. And another big one is jokes at your spouse's expense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is even something I still feel like I struggle with.
Yep.
Like, 'cause I'm just doing it in a playful manner or something like that. But, like, no, like, I am wrong. Like, again, like, if we're ever in a group setting and my spouse makes, like, a harmless joke.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of laughs. Maybe nervously. Maybe just kind of, it is funny. Maybe not.
Except for the person
The joke's
that
about.
it's about.
Yeah, then you ever do like that? Everyone kind of turns and looks, and like the person's wife or husband's like not laughing.
Yeah, it's like
oh,
okay, we're gonna talk about that when we get in the car.
Oh, absolutely, and everyone knows it's coming because everyone who's been married for a minute like
Right.
knows like those. It's just something that happens.
Right.
Like my
But
point here, words matter.
Yeah.
Even if they're just jokes.
Yeah.
Like Ephesians 4:29 says, "Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but
Right.
only what is helpful for building up others." If our words aren't building up our spouse
Yeah.
in public, in private,
Right.
we really need to rethink those and take them back to the drawing board.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to add that caveat that it's not just in public. It is also in private, in the shelter of your home, in front of your children, when it's just the two of you. Like, it is important. But moving on from there, another thing that we do that'll, pick away at your relationship is that casual negativity. And like I said, sometimes it's just the way that people speak, and we don't even think about what's coming out of our mouths. Like, I'm dead, or saying things like all the time, or calling your spouse lazy or dumb or annoying, even if it's in a playful way, like, you're so annoying.
Yeah, I was thinking like, bro, you were annoying the crap out of me.
Ugh,
Yeah, like what?
that wrecks my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, we're not saying you have to walk around speaking King James all day.
Yeah.
But we do need to be mindful of the way we're speaking, what we're speaking, and like, what we're saying over ourselves and over our marriages.
Right, which is a big thing because, like, when we got married, I remember a conversation that we had was like, you felt like when you came home, you wanted to just be able to, like, take off the filter and, like, do or say whatever you wanted to.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I came home and I was just in such a mindless, fleshful place.
Right.
Like she said, I would come home and it's just like, home is supposed to be my castle. I should be able to come home, kick my boots off, like, turn off how I am outside and just be at peace and just live worldly, live appeasing to myself and my flesh.
Yeah.
And I was 100% wrong in that, and that was something later in life I had to learn.
But I think that is the good point, is it's not so much about your home not being your place of peace, but what are you appeasing? Are you appeasing God, or are you appeasing your flesh?
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like one of the big turning points for us, was like, it's not that your wife is naggy, it's that, like, this isn't how God calls us to live.
Right. Like, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate behavior. It's not
Right.
appropriate thoughts. It's not appropriate ways to speak to my wife.
Right.
Coming home and just, sharing jokes that we're talking to the firehouse about, like trauma and stuff like that I'm seeing at the
Yeah.
firehouse. Like, that's not stuff I need to bring home.
Yeah.
Like,
And we've
regardless.
learned that.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of battles, a lot of hard fought, a lot of hard fights, but, we came out on the other side.
Yeah. So how do we actually shift from careless words to intentional communication? Like, talking about, like, your past and where you came from, like, what do you feel like were some things that were helpful for you?
I mean, first off, like, we've advocated for this entire time on this podcast, those prayerful pauses. And like we've said more recently, like, those pauses aren't meant to, like, stonewall or really shut out your spouse.
Yeah.
It's giving you time to rethink, reshape, and add grace into what you're going to speak.
Yeah.
Like, one of the big things for me that, like, helped me was in those prayerful moments that helped me rethink it was, like, is this true? Is it necessary? And am I saying this in love? Like, if it doesn't pass that test, it really doesn't need to be said at all.
Right. I mean, if you're heated in the moment and you pause and pray before responding, like, even just that few seconds of silence can save you from saying something that you regret. If you do that quick little test of, like, is it necessary? Is it true? Is it said in love? And if it's not passing that test in 3 seconds, like, let's just not say it.
Yeah, right. And I'm not going to hold you, like, that's not the easiest thing for me, because there's times, like, I just, like, and as that comes to that mindset, like, I just want to win.
Right.
So it's like, I want to say this, and I want her to shut down and turn, so I'm going to say this, and it's going to hurt her feelings.
Oh, thank you.
Right, and it is that is so sinful. That comes from a place of just appeasing my flesh.
Yeah.
And, like, that is wrong.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is start replacing negative words with life-giving ones. Like, instead of saying, like, you never help around the house, or, you know, you never do the dishes, or, you know, whatever it is, start saying, like, hey, like, I'd really appreciate your help with this.
Yeah. Same message, different impact.
100% different impact.
Right. Like, instead of saying, you're always late, like, you could say, like, it means a lot to me when you're on time. I know that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
You come home late a lot.
I do come home late. I get caught up having coffee.
But what I've learned is, if I'm more happy to see you when you come home, then you're more responsive with, like, coming home earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I try to rush home. You know, one thing that's really been on my heart lately is saying, like, you're annoying me. Start saying, like, I need a second to breathe.
That's a big one.
Instead is a huge one.
Like, you're annoying me, you're making me mad, like, I need a second to, like, putting it on me.
Yeah, like, because I need some space.
Yeah. I think that's a good one. And I think when you kind of learn these one-liners, that's where you can really grow in your relationship. And I think we'll probably just do a whole nother podcast on some one-liners for situations and arguments and things like that. But lastly, we'll talk about just another shift to improve relationships, which would be speaking encouragement over your spouse. And like I was saying, how when you come home, being happy to see you, and just like how much that, like, one simple little change or intentional compliment can shift the overall atmosphere of your relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, men, we should know this. Like, we come home to our wives, and instead of going like you don't come home to your wife and say, like, hey, bro, what's up? Like, you come home.
I would lose it.
Yeah, you'd have to be mad.
Gonna be that.
I'll come home like, hey, beautiful, how was your night? Like, you know what I mean? Just, like, you have to lay it on. You have to do it right.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Speak encouragement.
Yeah, because words have the power of life and death, so we want to be choosing life.
Right, you know, the words we speak absolutely shape our marriage, our relationships, you know, and our mindset. Mm-hmm. We can't be careless with them.
Yeah, so let's be intentional about speaking life in the way that we communicate with our spouse, in the way that we joke, and even, like you were saying, in the way that we talk about or talk to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So if this episode helped you, like, leave us a review. Share it with a friend. Drop a comment if you're watching on YouTube. We love hearing from you guys.
Yep. And thank you guys so much for listening to the Deserts and Gardens podcast. Until next time, walk in love.
Live with purpose.
And trust God in every desert and garden. See ya.